Are those in power targeting the moguls from the 90s, such as Suge Knight, P.Diddy, Jay-Z, and Murder Inc.? Who will be next? Before we dive into that, please subscribe and like. Click that like button, click that subscribe button. I appreciate it. I appreciate the listens I've been getting since I started this channel. And like I said on other podcasts, I am going to build this thing brick by brick. Welcome to Podcast Talk, the LG Experience, where I share my thoughts on trending topics. I am your host, Mr. LG. Happy New Year and greetings to all. I wish everyone a joyful New Year filled with blessings. Are those in power targeting the moguls from the 90s? I heard D.L. Hughley mention the same during a recent interview, and I completely agree. Who were the music moguls of the 90s? And as I get into this list, I had to do my little research, and most of these people I mentioned is basically African Americans, because people seem to think that African Americans are the ones that go through tough allegations, and people are seeking to take their fortunes and see them not live with success. And most of these people on this list been around this industry for a very long time. Very long time. We're talking probably at least 30 years. So some of the moguls of the 90s are Master P, the Cash Money brothers, Baby. He's one of the guys. You got P. Diddy, Jay-Z, Dame Dash, Russell Simmons, Andre Harrell, Uncle Luke, Jay Prince, Jermaine Dupri, Dr. Dre, Irv Gotti, and there's many more. And like I said, it's people that are moguls, and most of those people is based around hip hop, some R&B. They dip in R&B, different types of various musics, but it's pretty much for the most part hip hop. So it's other moguls that I didn't mention on this list that's African Americans and non-African Americans. Somebody like Lyra Cohen. Somebody like Biggs, who was a part of Rockefeller, just to name a few. But on this list, some of these people have been under the serious gun lately. And even the people I've mentioned throughout this list, they had their various controversies throughout musical history. And most of this stuff is public information. And we know Master P, he blew his label up, No Limit, back there in the 90s. He had that thing going on. It was a major movement. But he hasn't been caught up in any type of federal indictments or sexual accusations or allegations. But it just seems to me that they're going after the people from the 90s who's been fairly successful throughout time. And it's hard to stay successful for 20 years. And some of these guys have done it. People like E40, another mogul from the 90s. But he hasn't been caught up in any type of accusations like P. Diddy. But Master P, he had some public feuds with his family and that type of thing, probably various things that goes on with artists. But the biggest thing is his brother C. Murder being locked up for life in prison. And many people think he's not guilty of this crime, and they want a retrial. They want to get him out on bail and have a retrial. But as of today, he's still locked up in prison, and they're going to keep fighting. So that's the one thing about Master P. And then him and his brother C. Murder And I don't really want to call him C murder because he's already locked up in prison, and they pretty much use his his public persona when it comes to the rap music against him when he went up for this trial in this case right here. But his real name is Corey Miller. So we just want to put it out there like that. When you go to Birdman, and I got to think of his other brother name, the guy that works with him with the Cash Money Records. And I believe Cash Money is the label that may have sold the most records. They sold over probably 1 billion records. They had some big hit makers. The other brother name is Slim, so it's Slim and Baby. Both of those guys are brothers, and they run Cash Money Records. And it produced artists like Lil Wayne, which eventually put Drake and Nicki Minaj out there. Juvenile. They had some big records back in the day, but again, these guys, the brother Slim, he pretty much has a low profile when it comes to this industry stuff. But brother Baby, he had no problem getting on camera. He even made records, but they don't have any of these sexual type of allegations. But again, they had their various controversies. Of course, the most notable person is P.Diddy, because we know what he's going through right now, and it's being reported that he's having a meltdown in there, and that's what's going to happen when you suddenly get taken away. Not the fact that you're living in luxury, because people look at that as extra to you being incarcerated, but being incarcerated period, it can do something to you, you know what I'm saying? Because it seems like life just completely stops. Everything come to a screeching halt. So I can believe this guy having some type of meltdown where he can't control his situation. He gotta let other people tell him what to do. He got to be on other people's timing. The food probably is not that great to him. And he just can't do what he want to do. And that could be frustrating. And then, having these addictions. I do believe this guy has some addictions going on there. So his withdrawals from all of that. So he probably gonna need some therapy dealing with this. But Jay-Z recently been caught up in some accusations. There's a lawsuit out there. His team claims there should be a criminal charge involved in this. And I just think that it's holes in that story. Me personally, it's just my opinion. Click that like button, click that subscribe button. Just giving my thoughts on that. But it's just some holes in that story, how they trying to describe Jay-Z being involved in this alleged rape. And I do question the fact that why wasn't any criminal charges brought about. Even when you look at P.Diddy, and people on this list right here, some of these people just haven't really gone through stuff over the years, and P.Diddy was one of those people. And you look at real mafia bosses and people who really lived that lifestyle, they were constantly being watched by the feds or harassed by the feds, and different people in their crews catching cases and people giving up information. I think it makes a lot of sense because I listened to another interview. I listened to a lot of interviews and I gathered a lot of information. And former mafia boss Michael Franchise, he said he had went through 6 or 7 different cases. He was wondering how did P. Diddy, who got away with all this stuff that many years, when he ended up doing fair time. He faced a lot of cases, so he found that to be strange. I always say that the people that comes across with that mafia persona, and you talk to the people or look at the interviews of people that live that lifestyle, that actually lived it, they've been around the Gambinos and the different families, and they don't endorse that stuff. So, there's really no connection. It's just taking the images of these people and using that to, some type of way twist it into entertainment. So yeah, he was wondering, how did this guy get away with all this, allegedly got away with all this stuff for so many years when he was living a real lifestyle on the streets, and he was getting harassed by the authorities ever since he was a kid, really, because his father was a mafia boss. But I just think with the Jay-Z story, it's kind of shaky on that, in my opinion. And you got Dame Dash, and he's giving an interesting interview right now on a platform called The Art of Dialogue, and he's not saying favorable things about Jay-Z on their business practices. And it's not like he's on there wanting to see Jay-Z be under the gun, as he said, right about now. He pretty much don't know about this case, and like everybody else, you gotta see it play out in court. But he did claim that Jay-Z undermined him on certain situations and sort of made things difficult at Rockefeller. But you can all go back and check out the interview with Dame Dash. But again, he's another one of those people like some celebrities is coming out and saying, well, I didn't go to the white parties. Well, I didn't attend the after parties. I left early. And that could very well be true. So, and Dame Dash is one of the people, he just didn't hang out with P.Diddy like that, but he respected him, but he was in partnership with Jay-Z. So, there's some issues there, and he believed that Jay-Z undermined him on making some money. But again, you all can go back and look at the videos yourself. Russell Simmons. Many people think he's running from what could potentially happen to him if he was here in America. He's living in some other country somewhere where they can't extradite him. At least that's allegedly. We don't know. But some people think that if he was actually living here in America, he would catch one of these P.Diddy cases. And many people think that he was one of the people, along with Clive Davis and Andre Harrell, who actually schooled P.Diddy. And Jay-Z was in the wrong with those people too, And people say, I heard another interview with the former owner of the Source magazine, Benzino. He said, he got it. He was in a high-level position when he had that magazine. So he got a chance to be in the room with these upper-level type people. And as he said, he didn't fit in that room. And they knew he didn't fit in that room. But some people do fit in that room. And Jay-Z is one of those people. P. Diddy is one of those people. Russell Simmons, Andre Harrell. All of these people fit in that type of room. So Russell Simmons, again, many people think he living over in that other country, so he won't have to go through this type of scrutiny because there's been certain allegations been brought up against him. Russell Simmons coming from that disco era, the cocaine era of the 70s. Donna Summers, Diane Ross, and all the disco. You had the Jacksons and all that stuff, and everything was up tempo, upbeat. Is cocaine, so things was moving fast. So Russell Simmons actually come from that era, and he was a genius when it came to the music and all of that. And he actually came out in the '80s, but he still Def Jam was still kicking strong in the '90s. He had Andre Harrell. He had his controversies too, but I'm not going to go too much into him. He passed away or whatever. So then you got Uncle Luke. Uncle Luke seems like a very mature guy. He sounds like he knows what he's talking about. And it doesn't seem like, his whole situation was based around sex. You would think these freak-off parties, if you said Uncle Luke, we would say, yeah, we would agree with that. We believe he having these freak-off parties. But it'd be all good if it was Uncle Luke. P. Diddy is not Uncle Luke. So that's the difference. And Uncle Luke may have thought that he had some influence, or the types of parties they give down there in Miami. Yeah, that's why I think it would have been all good if it was Uncle Luke. But he's a much older guy. He's much more mature. He's not that young Luke that was fighting the system back in the day. So he's definitely one of the civil rights leaders of this hip hop thing. At least back in the day, he was. So, but like he say, he didn't stay for the after parties. He always left early. So you had Jay Prince, and a lot of the bloggers try to put him under the gun, but Jay Prince pretty much know how to handle that type stuff. He's an expert at public relations, and he's another one of those guys that I think that people want to see get taken down. And he knows that. I don't know the guy personally, and I'm on the outside of all of that, but it was once upon a time him, Suge Knight, and Irv Gotti tried to put themselves like this distribution type of company. And many people think it was some type of conspiracy to don't see that come to light. Today they'd probably be able to do that, but back then, they were still selling CDs, so streaming and downloads wasn't really a big thing when they were trying to do that. So there was still CDs out there and record stores and all that. So, but yeah, that happened at once upon a time when they tried to come up with this distribution company, and it just didn't come to light. But Jay Prince has not been in real trouble. Not highly doubted if he come up with some type of sexual traffic type thing. I don't know, but it is what it is. So let me see who else on this list. Jermaine Dupri. He probably has his controversies and all that. It's never been nothing like major in the public. No sexual allegations, and he may not seem like that type of guy. He don't seem like he was wilding out like P.Diddy. There was one point in time where he was one of the hottest producers in the industry. A lot of big records in the 90s. Criss Cross, he had Bow Wow, Rat, a couple of R&B groups. He was doing it big, dropping platinum records and doing production for other artists. So he got a lot of hit records under his belt, known for working with TLC. So, but he's one of those moguls, formerly of the 90s. I don't think he's trying too much playing that mogul role right now in his career. Not like P.Diddy, but he's still around. He's still doing different things in the industry. I would suppose he's still working in the industry in some type of capacity. I don't think he's trying to run a label or something like he was doing in the 90s. Back then he had So Def. So he made some history in this game, produced some young kids and made them stars. But he's not under the gun right now. So, but like I say, it look like they're going after people from the 90s. Click that like button, click that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Building this thing brick by brick. This is Podcast Talk, the LG Experience. It's all about the experience. I am the host, Mr. LG. You had Dr. Dre. He had plenty of controversy going on. He had a situation where he's supposed to battered on this hip hop lady. It was way back in the day. He's since got over that, and probably got some type of treatment for that type of thing. So, and he's a much older guy. Still producing banging tracks, still got his label going on. Kendrick Lamar, one of his artists, is out there. But sex trafficking, it doesn't seem like, it just seems like this guy is just a studio rat, I'm pretty sure he travels the world and do different things, but he's not under the gun for this type of accusations. Then you have Irv Gotti and Murder Inc. What they went through federal cases. They beat the case, but it's none of that being under the gun for sexual trafficking or just being an addict when it comes to drugs and those type of things. So, but They went through that case that was involved with the drug dealer or former drug dealer, Supreme Team, Kenneth McGriff, who's doing life in prison right now. Many believe that they really wanted McGriff, so it sort of threw Murder Inc. and them in there for being affiliated with him. So, but yet they went out on the gun, and they can never recapture the moment they had after they went through that. So, but Irv Gotti's still working around in the industry. Those guys, Ja Rule, he's doing concerts around the world, going to different countries, still working. He's probably not putting out current records. These guys are not actively pushing a record label. But they're just some of the moguls of the 90s. And then we can't forget the ultimate one, that's Suge Knight. In the early part of the 90s into the mid 90s, basically to Tupac died, they were just on top of the hip hop game, you see what happened to him. And he already did a prison stint earlier for what happened with that incident in Vegas with Tupac. And he had to do 28 years. So that's one that's down. They're trying to take P.Diddy down. They're trying to drag Jay-Z in some type of way. They want to take Russell Simmons down, and many people want to see Jay Prince being taken down. So for me, I don't want to see people go to prison. I'm hoping this stuff is not true with the P. Diddy's or the Jay-Z's and all of that. But again, you never know. You never know. You have to go through due process, and you have to presume the person's innocent until they go through that due process. But y'all tell me, do y'all think that they are trying to take down the moguls of the 90s? There's plenty of them. We'll see more stuff come out. But on that note, right about now, I want to give my 2 cents. Much is expected from that to whom much is given. So that's my 2 cents. Peace and love. And again, Happy New Year's.